Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request from Masi. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of reviews, or topic, or video game playthrough, or let's try, or reaction, or commentary, whatever the case may be, a re-review of a movie, PayPal is usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Links are in the info box, which are is or was where I am there, or there, one of the two. But this is the last voyage of the Demeter, which I had heard of, and most people said it was just flat out boring. And they do have a point, because I do not think this is an outright god-awful movie. I do like the lead actor. I thought he did a pretty... Corey Hawkins as Clemens. I actually thought he was pretty capable in the role. The Dracula, when you have the practical effects, and they go for a more like Nosferatu look, I don't mind some of those moments. But this film did not need to be 2 hours long. That was one of his biggest mistakes. There's an overusage of CGI, and there's just not enough story there. This is based on a chapter that was, what, 16 pages long? Give or take? Sorry if I get the number wrong. But you don't make a 2-hour movie over something... No, that doesn't work. Even Stephen King's Graveyard Shift knew that was a short story, but it wasn't 2 hours long of a movie. And that has a bit more interesting, characters and environment and use of practical effects. While here, okay, you're on a boat, but everything outside is CG, the CG waves and stuff, because it's a much more of a pain in the ass to try to shoot on an ocean with that stuff. But that's the thing, it's like the background, you can tell it looks so digital that just, you never buy they're on an ocean. There's so much of it's digital, especially the wider shots with the storms and the waves. So because of that, it just has this phony look to it, because a lot of it is phony. Granted, it may not look like Sci-Fi Channel phony, but so you don't really get a sense of them be... It's not like Jaws, a classic like Jaws, where you really feel, because they're all on a damn boat, and you really feel their isolation, and they're cut off, and among other stuff. I mean, the story is Corey Hawkins is, again, Clemens. He's a guy who is a doctor. He wants to be going back to England. There's a boat that's going to be on the way there with this package. There's livestock, but there's also, as we come to find out, coffins. And they don't want to hire the guy, but then the guy saves the captain's grandson, so ultimately he does get the job. Liam Cunningham, who is I remember him from Dog Soldiers, he plays the captain. He was not bad in the film. Like I said, Corey Hawkins as Clemens, the lead guy, wasn't bad in the film. But they just didn't have much on the page to really work with. Like, how do you fill this story? They're on a boat. Dracula's on a boat. Kills people one by one. The boat's going to be wrecked. End the movie. How do you make that work for 2 hours? They don't. I mean, it's not the worst movie ever, but it's just, it becomes a slog to sit through, because you get... That always is stretched out too much to hold its weight, that a lot of people don't get bored with the movie. But there's a big sense of familiarity. Now, yes, you say, well, yeah, it's Dracula, of course. How many Dracula movies have we seen where one portion is the Demeter and Dracula on the boat? Which I always think of Dracula Dead and Loving It with... I always think of that. But that's why usually that's just a small part of the movie. It's like their notion was, we want a vampire in a boat. We've had a vampire on a plane, Blood Red Sky, which I did like that film. We've had vampire, space vampires, life force. What do we do with vampires? A boat. Okay, a boat. Oh yeah, like Dracula novel. That's on a boat. Make that into a movie. Yeah, but then you need a lot more going on with that whole plot, and there really isn't. Like, character-wise, there's not a whole lot going on. I mean, other than they start sailing, and ultimately they hear some noise, and the doctor, our lead character, finds this woman, and he gives her blood transfusions. Now, granted, I thought you needed the same blood for blood transfusions. That's why they asked, are you AB, or are you positive? I thought you needed the same blood. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. Hey, I don't even play a doctor on TV. Steal a line from Fabio, a friend of mine. I don't even play a doctor on TV. Don't you need the same blood to go into other blood for blood transfusions? If so, how lucky is it that the doctor has the same blood as her and they do the blood transfusions? But again, is there a doctor in the house? If any of my subscribers is a doctor, number one, cool. Number two, I feel sorry because that's a lot of stress. Number three, sincerely, do you need the same blood type for a transfusion? If so, how is it that this doctor has the same blood type as her, and how did he know that? I don't know. But yeah, dog and pigs and livestock are being killed. There's a teeny bit of racism. Of course there has to be. Thankfully the film does not stop for 30 minutes about that. But it's slightly touched in there. Of course it had to be, because the lead guy is black. Because if someone's black in the movie nowadays, the racism always has to come up. Now, thankfully, in this is for a little bit, and for some bigger. But it's like, does it have to come up? Can't they just be a doctor who just something happened? Which for the most part it is, but there's a little bit in there. How about none? Does it have to be in there at all? And I said the familiarity, not just because of Dracula's story. Alien. The movie Alien. Truck drivers going from point A to point B with cargo. Here, they're going from point A to point B with cargo. You have one creature taking them out one by one. Only in that film, you really do get a sense of isolation because it's space. They really are in the middle of nowhere. There really is no way for them to get help. There is a way for them to get help. Because when you see all the livestock has been bitten and dying, they could go to a port. Nah, we want the bonus. Talk about the bonus situation. Speaking of Alien, the bonus situation. We need that bonus. If we get here at that certain time, we get a bonus. You can't spend the bonus if you're dead. Now, granted, by the time they find an actual human dead, they do say that the next port is England. So that's why they have to keep going. But yeah, it's pretty much these characters who you don't really know much about. Again, the doctor, that you find out a little bit about him later. The woman, which she was part of her village, and she was kind of given as an offering. So the idea was that Dracula was going to feed on her throughout the journey, but because she was saved and transfused, now he needs other food. The captain, he's a captain. The grandson, he's the grandson. The other people, really don't get to know much about them. Not a whole lot to them personality-wise. So you're just kind of waiting for the next person to die. And again, okay, Dracula is more of a bat creature, Nosferatu type of face. Okay, that's cool to make it a bit different, not just, Gerard Butler, Dracula 2000, type of thing. But I don't like that they at times use CGI. Like, he's crawling, but he does his jump and gets the guy's neck, and that turns to a CG video game effect. Like, why? Just have a guy in a damn suit. Even if you want to get a skinnier guy, have him in, a suit. You have the makeup look like ribs, whatever you want. Just have him do this practically. You don't need to go into a CGI thing. But they do. And then there's some leaps of logic. Like, our lead guy is a doctor. When they find her, obviously he would have looked over her body because he's a damn doctor. That's part of his job. I'm going to look over this woman's body, see what's going on with her, before I give her the damn blood transfusion. But then it's like a day or 2 or 3 later where he finds bite marks. How the hell do you, like, these are not like tiny. These are like bite mark, bite mark, bite mark, bite mark, bite mark. You're a doctor. How in the flying fuck did you not see any of this when you first saw the bitch? Like, you didn't see any of these giant bite marks when you looked at her body? He didn't do it. Well, then he sucks as a doctor. Maybe that's why you got fired. What happened to this girl? Let's at least look at her body. Oh, here's these giant bite marks. That should have been the first thing you did. It's not 2-3 days later. But yeah, it kills people one by one. At night, one guy he bites and he's able to control the guy. The spoilers, did you in the spoilers? It chases after the grandson. They grab the guy, but you realize Dracula's in the room with the grandson. They keep knocking on the door. You're thinking, why don't you just shoot the door? You had guns. Like 5 minutes before, where did all the guns go? Of course, it had to take 5 minutes for the lady to get the idea to get the gun and shoot the lock. Because all the guys, I guess, are stupid. You stupid! Stupid! I go bang on this door for 5 minutes. You had guns. Where the hell did the guns go? You get the gun, you go get your... And she does. Long enough for Dracula to bite and kill the grandson. So it does kill a kid. So it's not too tame of a movie. The guy who's been bit, they tie him up and the sun comes and it burns him. CG fire. I find it weird that the lead guy, Clemens, and the girl, they decide, let's look for Dracula. So they look at night. First off, even if they don't know about light, sun killing Dracula, it'd still be better to be at daytime, just because if you need to get the hell out of Dodge, you could be outside and be in the light. And also, you just saw a guy burnt up. If that guy burnt up, maybe this guy will burn up. So search for him during the day. And then they find... But no, they search at night. Now I think earlier, like, they found where the guy slept. So if you know where he sleeps, or an idea of where he sleeps, why don't you search for him during the day? Like, okay, wait a minute. This is where he sleeps? He can sleep in these coffins in the dirt? You tell the people this is what he does. This is probably why we couldn't find him before. Okay, it's daytime. Let's find this son of a bitch during the day, because that guy burnt up during the day. Let's go find the son of a bitch. Look in every nook and cranny, every coffin, every crate. Open them all if you have to. Stick together. And just kick some ass. But they never have that idea. I don't know why. Or hell, why don't you try to sink the boat? Okay, if you want to sink the boat, they come up with the idea, let's sink the boat, let's sink the boat. Then do it during the day. Not once, but twice. Because they have the little boy's body, and then the boy's body burns up. It goes after his granddad. His face burnt up a bit. So twice now you see, oh, this thing, whatever it is, here's two people that were bit by it. Sunlight burns them. Destroy the ship during the day then. Or get on a lifeboat during the day. Sink the ship and get on a lifeboat during the day. They don't do that. I don't know why. The cook gets on a boat at night. Maybe it was, I don't know, was that the last boat they had? I'm trying to think if that was the last boat they had. You'd think they would have more than one boat, though. You would think for a ship that big, they would have more than one little lifeboat thing. Maybe not, I don't know. You would think they'd have more than one. But it's okay, if you want to destroy the ship, well, one guy does it, but then they ultimately decide to do it. Why are you waiting until night? Do it during the day. Sink the ship during the day, and then get on the boat during the day and get the hell out of Dodge. But if we did that, then we couldn't have the Dracula. It's in the rain, kills 3 people. Kills the captain who's got by the steering wheel. Kills 2 others. And it's not even much of a confrontation at the end. Pretty much Dracula grabs Clemens. The girl shoots him. While his back is turned, Clemens hits it in the back with an axe. It grabs Clemens again. You're not afraid of me? You will be. Scratches his neck a bit. She does something where it shakes things up. The mask comes, impales Dracula. The ship is coming down. They swim away. She's going to turn. I guess the blood transfusion stopped her from becoming a vampire. I don't know how that works, because she's been in the daytime. So blood transfusions can stop. Okay. I mean, vampires don't exist, so who knows what the rules are. So it's like, those aren't the rules. Well, vampires don't exist, so are there really true rules for vampires? Since they don't exist. But he offers, so I could give you more blood transfusions. No, eventually this is what's going to happen to me. Although I'm thinking, so when she was getting bit, do vampires, can they, that means she would have been a vampire, so can vampires suck on other vampires for vampire blood? Just, if she was bit that many times, as you see, she's a vampire, that means, I guess, he would keep feeding on her. Is it the amount of days it takes to become a vampire, or, I don't know, I guess I'm thinking of other movies like vampires can't suck on other vampires' blood. Although in Blade 2, no, I'm going all over the place. I'm thinking about it way too damn much. So the Clemens does survive. He's back in England. Sees that Dracula is there with his top hat looking like Jack the Ripper. The guy sees him, says, I'm going to send it back to hell, goes after him, cuts to credits. I don't know why, for some second I thought we were going to see that his name was Clemens Van Helsing. I don't know why I thought that. I mean, they did say his name, but for some reason I thought it'd be like, I'm going to send him back to hell, or my name is that Clemens Van Helsing. I don't know why I thought that, but that wasn't the case. And that's the thing, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. It's seems like a movie that'd be up my alley. I like creature features. I like them when they're all in one setting. I love The Relic, the 90s. Monster movie in the museum. Alien. Alien on a spaceship. Of course. Those type of movies. Steve G's Graveyard Shift. Touchtown Mill. But this doesn't have that eerie. It doesn't have the direction of a Ridley Scott in his heyday. A lot of it is digital. A lot of the backgrounds, the oceans, a lot of outside shots of the ship, the water you see, it's all digital, so it like takes me out of the movie. There's never a time I bought they were in the ocean, so that kind of helps with the escapism part of it. The characters, I don't mind the lead guy. I did not mind the captain, just performance-wise, but the terrors really weren't that engaging, weren't that interesting. There wasn't like a fun rapport, dialogue, or personalities. Like Alien, Parker and Brett, and the bonus situation, and how they talked with Ripley, and that Ripley and Tom Stewart maybe had a thing, maybe not had a thing before, and let alone the Tom Sizemore and the Relic, how he's so superstitious, and how he's trying to get other people. No, don't step on that. I loved how superstitious his character was. That was a fun character trait. Stephen Mott and how his accent in Graveyard Shift was a character of his own. I've run the picker. That thing has been open since Christ was a kid. There's really none of that charm to this movie. The look of Dracula, like I said, I don't mind the look, but there's too many times where it cuts from practical, which looks nice, to CG. And it's so noticeable that I'm like, why don't you just do the whole movie as practical? Do what you can. Like him jumping and hitting someone in the neck with his claws. That could have been done practical, not CG. There's no reason to do that. Do it with editing, do it with camera work, any amount of stuff. Sometimes less is more. And the attempt at scares, it's just, he's there, they look, he's there. When they turn around, he's not there. They see something, oh, he's not there. Oh, maybe he's right behind me. Like the same type of stuff you've seen in so many of these typical tropes in these type of movies. There's nothing really that inventive or creative or clever to the film. And most of all, the pacing is dire in this. Most people find it fucking boring. And I don't blame you. It will drag for a lot of people. Because again, you have a less than 20-page chapter story for a 2-hour running time that not a whole lot of other stuff is happening on deck. Again, is it the worst movie I've seen? No. Maybe some people, if you have Netflix or wherever this is on, you watch it, it's a rainy night, maybe you get something out of it, but again, I think it needed to be a much tighter movie, with much more interesting personalities, less digital, more practical in terms of the setting, in terms of the backdrop. And let's get some like fun action scenes in there. Close calls. They're fighting the creature with their guns, and it's doing stuff here and there to counteract that, and really get some set pieces. Get some really exciting set pieces in between all this. But again, it's like they said, vampire on the boat. That's the gimmick. Let's make it work. And I don't think this film did that well. So it didn't work for them. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's too familiar with films like Alien, among other stuff, and like scare-wise, tree factor-wise is not there. It needed much tighter pacing, needed much faster pace, needed more action or more set pieces, and maybe it was just a mistake to take this short amount of material to try to. Maybe there's like an hour-long episode of some kind of anthology show. It probably would have worked better. And I think at the end of the day, yeah, make it an hour-long episode of some anthology show. If this was an episode of the X-Files, vampire in a boat, that could work. There's a vampire in a boat, and Mulder and Scully are on it, and people are dying one by one, and Scully's investigating, Mulder sees it, and then it may or may not have been Dracula. That actually might have been 45-minute, pretty decent episode of X-Files. Not a 2-hour movie. But with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.